online session of English for class 9. Today, we will be dealing with the textbook Beehive. Imagine you are taught by a robot or a mechanical teacher instead of me. Will you be excited, sad, or happy? Yes, this is going to be the future strategy of teaching. A mechanical teacher instead of a real teacher. Now we can see a boy or a teacher with a computer, isn't it? And a robot in a teaching position. So this will be the strategy in the future which will be followed for teaching. See the future schools, how it will be. Learning through computers, virtual classroom, robotic teacher, and moving EText. Just imagine, what is EText? Yes, we are dealing with the textbook, a hard copy, isn't it? Instead, in future, it will be EText. All the letters, everything will be coming in the computer. Just we have the PDF form in the computer. The same way, you will be seeing the EText. So, this is what we are going to deal today in the chapter, The Fun They Had. This is the first chapter in the book, Beehive. This chapter written by Sir Isaac Asimov. Now, about the author. Isaac Asimov was born on 2nd January 1920 in Russia. He immigrated with his family to the United States. He became a biochemistry professor while pursuing writing. He published his first novel, Pebble in the Sky, in the year 1950. He died in New York City on 6th April 1992. He has a lot of quotes. One of the famous quote is, "Any book worth banning is a book worth reading." Isn't it? We always have that feeling that if somebody says no, we have the tendency to do it. So one such quote gives that meaning, isn't it? Any book worth banning. So we have that curiosity to read that book. So that's what this quote implies. Now, let me ask you a few questions. What kind of school would you want to have in the future? How much will the computer be involved in the future education? Will you feel more happy in a more developed, high-tech society? So these things are some of the questions about which we will get an answer when we move ahead in the chapter. So let me give an introduction about the chapter. Isaac Asimov depicts a school system which is independent of human teacher and based on technical advance. So he is giving a picture about what? About a school system without any influence of the human teacher. So just imagine a school without a teacher. It's out of our imagination, beyond our imagination, isn't it? But his view is that if there will be a school system in which there will be no influence from the human beings. Now, the main advantage, what is the advantage about it? So, according to the author, the main advantage of a mechanical teacher is the individual teacher can train the personal talents. And not only that, there will be no human mistakes, and it is a perfect way to give every child the same knowledge and same information. So, teachers can make mistakes, isn't it? But here, when it comes from the side of a mechanical teacher, there will be no mistakes. But there are disadvantages too. Anything has good things as well as bad things. So one of the disadvantage is human peoples do not learn like a computer. You just imagine about yourself. How can you learn like a computer? No, you have your own limitations. So that's one of the disadvantage. What is it? Human peoples do not learn like a computer. And not only that, learning has to be a kind of fun. Just imagine, how do we have the class in the classroom, we interact with each other, we have fun, we share our ideas, we share our opinions, isn't it? So we are learning with fun. That means through fun we are learning the concepts. But that will be missing if it is from a mechanical teacher. And not only that, there is probability of forgetting. When you learn things through fun, you remember. But at the same time, there are chances of forgetting when you don't learn it in that fun way. That fun is required while learning. Then, studies have come to the result that you can learn things better if you have fun. That's what I told. If you have fun while you're learning, you will be able to learn things in a better way. And next disadvantage, there are no social relationships like at school today. Just imagine when you come to school, what is the most or what is the funniest or what is the happiest moment? Yes, you can meet your friends. But just imagine you're sitting in your room in front of the computer, and what fun do you have? Just imagine the situation now you're going through. So the same thing, you are seeing the recorded class, and what fun do you have? Don't you feel that, don't you miss that interaction? Don't you miss your friend's presence? Don't you miss interacting with your teacher? Yes. So just imagine, at least you are watching the class of your own teacher. But just imagine a mechanical teacher coming and teaching you. Will you be having any fun? Yes. So, can you create any social relationship? No. When you come to the school, you meet with each other, you meet your friends, you have fun, isn't it? And that way, you are creating a bond among your friends. And there is a social relationship, isn't it? Now, if a child lives in a neighborhood with no children, it is alone. So don't you think the situation? Just imagine you are living in a society, in a residential area, and in that area there might be no children. Just imagine what will be your situation. You will be very dull, isn't it? So same thing, when you are sitting in your room learning things from a mechanical teacher or from the computer, just imagine that situation. Will you have any fun? I doubt. I don't think you will be having any fun. So the same thing, the social relationship will be also a negative point. That you can't create a social relationship with anyone. Then, when you come to the school, I told you just a moment before that when the happiest thing is when you come to the school is you can meet your friends. And of course, after the holidays or after a weekend, when you come to the school, you're so happy to meet your friends, isn't it? So just imagine when you don't have such things. So learning with friends, it's actually a great motivation. You are motivated by your friends help you when you are in difficult situation, isn't it? So that is motivating you to study. So learning with friends at school can be a motivation. At school today, the pupils improve their communication and their behavior in a group. See, when you come to the school, how does it help you? It helps to improve the communication skill, how to communicate with people outside. You are learning all these things in a school, isn't it? So it also improves the behavior as well as the communication skills. In Asimov's future vision, Asimov, the author, according to his future vision, there are no human teachers who can give moral values to the children. Another point. See, school is a place where you are not only getting knowledge from the books or just an education. You inculcate certain moral values in your personality, isn't it? Which is very important to develop your personality, isn't it? So that will be a missing factor when you sit at home and learn from a mechanical teacher. Is it clear? So now whose responsibility is to inculcate the moral values? Yes, it's a fact that a person or a child can be influenced by a teacher or by their parents. So the role of a teacher is not there. So whose role is prominent? Yes, only the parents, isn't it? So it becomes a responsibility of the parents to inculcate what? Yes, the moral values in the children. Why? Because mechanical teacher cannot give moral values. So that's the fact. How can a mechanical teacher inculcate moral values in you? It will just come. It's a mechanic, isn't it? Mechanical means what? It's a machine. So what can you expect from a machine? Just what is put into it will be given to you, not or more than that. Is that clear? Now, shall we move on to the chapter? The fun they had, that's what we are going to see in this chapter. So shall we start the chapter? Okay, so here we can see the main characters, Margie and Tommy. So it starts with Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. So what did you get? What idea did you get when you read that first line? Yes, Margie has the habit of writing the diary, isn't it? So she is writing that particular day's event in the diary. And what did she write? Margie even wrote about it that night in a diary. Wrote about it. About what? That is a question, isn't it? About what? On the page headed 17 May 2157. See the date? What is the date? Yes, 17 May 2157. So something of next century, isn't it? So what is the date? 17th May 2157. So maybe in future also people will be writing diaries, isn't it? So that is what a picture is given over here. So she was writing, and in that she wrote that she something about what? We will see. What did she write? Today Tommy found a real book. So what did she write? Today Tommy found a real book. So what is the significance of that word real book? Real book. So it is clear maybe in future they might not have seen a book, a real book, or what a real book is. So that's why she's very excited, and she is writing it in her diary. In the which year? 2157. So that's what about it. About it, it signifies about the book which Tommy got it. Okay. Now it was a very old book. Which one? Yes, the book which Tommy got. It was an old one. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather. So Margie remembers that once her grandfather had told that his grandfather has told a story about the book. That there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. So she remembers her grandfather telling her that his grandfather told her that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. So now also we have a lot of apps in our Play Store where you can read storybooks, novels, then thrillers, crime stories, everything, isn't it? So slowly we are also going to the EText, isn't it? At least we have hard books with us, isn't it? But then a time would come, no more paper, everything as EText. Now, they turned the pages. Turned the pages? Yes, when they got the book, they were so excited, they started to turn the pages. Now, you do the same thing, isn't it? When you get the book, you just start turning the pages. And these pages, see, which were yellow and crinkly. Just imagine, when you get an old book, what is the color of it? Yes, very pale yellow color, isn't it? So that itself, the sight itself gives us an idea that the book is an old one, isn't it? So yellow and crinkly. Crinkly means wrinkled, folded ones. They were foldings. The pages were folded. and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. So what was it? Why it is told like that? Yes, it was awfully funny. So they found it very funny to read something or read a book in which the words were standing still. Otherwise, they were used with the words. When you scroll on your computer, what happens? It goes up and down. But here, you can't do it. It just stands still over there. Isn't it or not? So, from your experience, you can understand. You can make out the difference. Isn't it or not? Okay. So, I'll repeat the same thing. And it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. They were used of those words which used to move up and down, which could be scrolled. But here, the words were standing still. And that too on a screen. You know that. And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time. So they were exploring all the facts about the book which they got it. So what happened? They turned the pages, again came back and checked whether those words which they have read earlier are there or not. They were turning the pages and finding out and exploring the different facts from the book. Gee, said Tommy. What a waste. Gee, it's showing surprise. Who? Tommy. What a waste. So he considered that as a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess. So he thought it in that way. How? When you finish reading the book, what do? You just throw it away. Do you do that? No. If the one who loves books, I'm sure they will store it, and they will, when there are number of books, they will make a library. Isn't it or not? But here, he finds it as a waste. Why? Once you read it and then it is over and you will throw it away. Our television screen must have had 1 million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. According to Tommy, what he believes is, in his television screen, he has 1 million of books, and not only that, even more could be found. You know, when you go to the Play Store, as I told you, there are different apps. When you finish reading, you can go to the other, and there are many millions of books in it which you can take from it and read it. I wouldn't throw it away. And he says that he wouldn't throw it away. Can you throw it from the computer? No. Or can you throw it in the television or app or anything, any devices which you are using? Can you throw it away from there? No, it would be there. Margie also accepts the fact. She's also saying, yeah, same with mine. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. Why? Because Tommy was 30. So Margie was 11 years old and Tommy was 30. So 30 means elder to her. He has seen more telebooks than Margie. And you know, when you are elder, that superiority complex comes in you, isn't it? So the same thing here, Tommy also showed that superiority or superior complex. Then she said, where did you find it? She was very excited to see this, and she asked Tommy, from where did you find it? What? The book. In my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading. Margie asked him a question. He didn't even bother to look at her face, and he answered, from my house or in my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading the real book in the attic. Attic is in the attic. Attic is a place in between the roof of your building. So you used to store things over there, and from there he got the book. What is it about? Margie was very curious to know what is written in the book. So what is it about? School. Who replied? Yes, Tommy replied. What was his answer? School. So the book was about what? The book was about the school. Okay. So shall we stop over here? And we can continue in the next class. Thank you.